All right, let's turn up the heat on a wellness practice that's been around for, well, centuries. But now it's backed by some seriously hot science. I'm talking about the sauna, and we're going to go way beyond just kicking back and relaxing to ask a much bigger question.
Let's just cut right to it. Can sitting in a hot box a few times a week actually extend your life? I know, it sounds a little out there, right? Like maybe it's too good to be true. But the data might just surprise you. This is the big question we're unpacking today.
So let's just start with a number, 63%. What on earth could that be? Well, according to one massive study, that's the reduction in risk of sudden cardiac death for men who hit the sauna 4 to 7 times a week compared to guys who only went once a week. That is a massive, massive difference.
So where does a number like that even come from? Well, that's where we get into the science of sweat. We're going to look at some really groundbreaking research out of Finland that basically puts saunas on the medical map. Okay, so check this out. What the researchers found is what's called a dose-dependent relationship. Basically, the more you do it, the better the results. This study, published in a major medical journal, followed over 2,000 men for about 20 years. And just look at the bars. Going from just 1 session a week to 2 to 3, that drops the risk by 22%. But upping that to 4 to 7 sessions a week, boom, a staggering 63% drop. The conclusion was pretty clear. More time in the sauna was directly linked to a longer life. This whole idea isn't exactly new. Way back when, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, was already onto something. What a sauna does is it creates a sort of self-induced fever. Your heart rate can actually jump up to 150 beats per minute. That's similar to doing moderate exercise. Your blood vessels open up and your circulation gets this huge boost. All that heat stress also triggers these things called heat shock proteins that help repair your cells. Basically, your body is put to work, and that work has some very real, very measurable benefits. Okay, so the science is definitely compelling, but you can't just, camp out in a sauna all day to get these benefits safely. And that brings us to the really practical side of things. How long is the right amount of time? So what's the magic number? Well, for most people, the sweet spot seems to be right around 15 to 20 minutes. But, and this is really important, if you're just starting out, please take it easy. Start with just 5, maybe 10 minutes, and just see how your body feels. The whole point is to get the benefits without taking on the risks. And this really shows you why that time window is so important. It's a just right kind of situation. If you go too short, you're kind of shortchanging yourself. You won't get the full relaxation or circulatory benefits. But on the flip side, stay in too long and you start running into serious problems like dehydration, overheating, and putting way too much strain on your heart. That 15 to 20 minute mark really is the target for a reason.
All right, so if timing is the golden rule, then hydration is, well, it's the law. It is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. Because let's be real, you are going to sweat a lot, and you have to be ready for it.
The best way to think about it is a simple timeline: before, during, and after. You got to prep your body before you go in with a glass or 2 of water. Then, you need to be sipping water during your session to keep up. And of course, you keep hydrating after you're done to replenish everything you lost. The key is to stay ahead of the game, not try to play catch-up later.
And I really love this analogy because it paints such a clear picture. Your body really is like a high-performance engine. When it gets hot, it's not just burning through water. You're losing crucial stuff, essential electrolytes like sodium and potassium that keep everything running right. Just pouring water back in is like putting gas in your car, but never checking the oil.
So, what should you be drinking? Well, plain old water is always a great choice. But if you want to level up, mineral water or coconut water are fantastic because they've got those electrolytes we were just talking about. Now, for what to avoid, this is a big one. Stay away from alcohol. It actually makes you more dehydrated, which is the exact opposite of what you want.
Okay, so you've got your timing down, you're fully hydrated, you're ready to go. But wait, what kind of sauna are you actually walking into? Because believe it or not, they're not all the same. The 2 most common types give you very different experiences.
Let's do a quick head-to-head. First, you've got your traditional Finnish sauna. This is the classic hot box. It gets super hot because it's heating the air around you. Then you have an infrared sauna. The air temperature is actually lower, but it's using these special light waves to heat your body directly from the inside out. It's a totally different feeling, which is why you can often hang out in an infrared sauna for a bit longer. And you can really see the difference here. On the left, that traditional setup, it's all about that classic, steamy, all-encompassing heat that fills the entire room.
But on the right, the infrared sauna, see those dark panels? They're the ones doing the work, sending out invisible light that heats you up directly. Two very different paths to get to the same goal, a really good sweat. All right, we've talked about all the amazing benefits, but now we need to cover what is maybe the most important section of all, safety, because none of this works if you're not smart about it. And step one is always, always, always listening to your body.
And look, the simple truth is, saunas just aren't for everybody. If you have any kind of heart condition, blood pressure issues, or respiratory problems, you have to be super careful. Same thing goes if you're pregnant, a child, or an older adult. And if you're sick with a cold, just skip it. The most important takeaway here, the big, bold letters at the bottom, talk to your doctor first. Seriously.
And for every single person, your body has its own built-in alarm system. If you start to feel any of these things, dizzy, lightheaded, sick to your stomach, a headache coming on, that is not something you push through. That is your body screaming, time to get out. So listen to it. Get out, cool yourself down, and drink some water.
So, let's wrap all this up. What's the big picture? Saunas can be a genuinely powerful tool for your health. The science is there. But, and this is the big but, it's not a magic bullet. The real benefits are only unlocked when you do it the right way, safely, mindfully, and by paying close attention to what your body is telling you.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about, doesn't it? In this world that is just packed with wellness trends, it can be so hard to figure out what's real and what's just hype. The sauna is a great example of something that seems to have real science behind it when it's done right. And maybe that's the key for all of us, finding the things that are backed by evidence and practicing them with a little bit of wisdom. Thanks for tuning in.